Hello, I'm Tom, and almost exactly 3 years ago, I started doing YouTube videos. My first proper video was how to do overgrown Necrons.
WTF are those, I hear you ask? Well, these.
Since recording that, I've added many more models to the army, and I've only played with it twice. The models have just been gathering dust in my display cabinet, so I thought it'd be a good idea to do an army showcase video to celebrate my 3-year anniversary. I also decided because they're gathering dust and I am not making use of them, I'm going to sell them so that other people can enjoy them and I can make more space in my cabinet for projects. In the next few months I've got some more Space Marine videos coming out and some entire army painting videos. So without further ado, here is the entire army.
This force is sitting at just under 3,000 points of models. It comprises of 40 warriors, which I've painted slightly differently to denote which unit they are from. 20 have silver gorse flares and the other 20 have black gorse flares. They are all covered in varying amounts of flock, undergrowth, plants and graft tufts to try and make them all look unique. I've also added some rust effects and some moss enamel paint too. They all have the signature orange-yellow glowing gorse theme that I've put across my entire army. There's also 6 scarab swarms which are made to look like they've just burst out from the undergrowth by using moss, flock and graft tufts. I also have a royal warden, an overlord, a plasmancer and 2 murder buckets. 3 Scorpic destroyers, a Scorpec lord, 2 Canoptek Reanimators, a plasma sight, 3 Lokhust heavy destroyers, Illuminor a Hexmarks destroyer, a Technomancer, 3 Canoptek Doomstalkers, a monolith, oh yeah, and the Silent King too. The Hexmark is one of my favourite models. All of those guns and pipes and its rules are absolutely crazy. It's such a fun model to paint and to play with. The Technomancer sounds like the name of a DJ, but this guy just hypes up destruction. And weirdly enough, he can fly. The Plasmancer is such a cool pose. It's like bodiless and just floats with its little engines. Its rules are pretty cool as well. It has a bodyguard of 2 murder buckets, aka the Crypto Thralls, which, I played with them in 9th edition, are actually surprisingly good. They dish out a lot of attacks and they look awesome. They're little laser beam eyeballs as well. I've done a few video guides already on how to come up with this effect. Check my other videos. The Overlord and Royal Warden were some of the first models I painted in this scheme. I get a lot of questions asking if the vegetation and flock that I use falls off. Well, all of the models have been sealed with a homemade matte sealant scenery spray. This is just like a mix of PVA, water and alcohol, and it seals in everything. Obviously some of the flock still falls off over time, but it makes it so sturdy. Hey yo, puny human, subscribe to Tom's channel. That's, I assume, what Necrons sound like. Illuminor Zeras is one of the most frustrating kits I've ever built. It's unnecessarily picky and finicky, but it is awesome. I mean, he's like sucking the soul and brains out of this silly human. It's so dark. The blades on all the models as well were quite easy. It's just silver with the same glow effect over the top. So I do an orange base, white edge, and then yellow ink. I've done a guide on this as well. So I've used a sealant spray on all of the models, but you could also use a matte varnish spray over the top as well. But I haven't bothered as it's not been necessary. The Stormcast Destroyers and the Stormcast Lord were some of the originals in my first video as well. And as you can see, they've aged quite well. The moss on the base has started to darken, but yeah, this could easily be lightened up with a bit of paint or some more flock over the top. But it also sort of adds to the fact that they've been walking around with vegetation growing off them. It's eventually going to die. These 3 Lokhust heavy destroyers were so fun to paint. They're absolutely covered in coils and just so many glow effects. And there's lots of flat metallic areas as well, so they were fun to weather. I also used some brighter tufts on these. These are the first ones I did with the pink and blue. They also pack a punch in the game as well. The glow effect is so cool. Then on to my pride and joy, these Canoptek Doomstalkers. There's a little warrior for scale. These were so fun to decorate and also fun in the game. We've got lots of different flock and vegetation on. These white grass things that you can see on the base and at the top, they're actually bits of cheap paintbrushes from the pound shop that I've just cut the bristles off and then used as like a grass, and they look awesome. You could also paint them or stain them with an ink if you wanted. These were also some of the first models I made vines for, which is just some, if you watch my monolith video, it's just the some string that I've put glue on and then ran through some flock. But then when you attach it to the model, it looks like a creeping vine. It looks awesome. The vines were some of my favourite things to make as well. They were so easy and they're just really added to the models. And here's one of the original Reanimators. So as you can see, the moss I used has dried up a little and it's faded in colour. But I think that's cool. You could always keep it as it is, or you could always use brighter flock on top. Here you go, there's tapped it, tiny bit of flock has come out of it, from me being quite rigorous with it there. So the sealant spray is sufficient really, and obviously just make sure you don't pick it up by the vegetation. So the test of time, 3 years, these have been like this. That looks so cool. And then the Silent King. The orange Catan. Oh my god, it just looks so cool. It's literally the logo of my YouTube channel. It just works really well. These menhirs, I think they're called. These things are fun to paint. So they had loads of little like cracks and veins going through the stonework. And then the king himself. This kit again was a bit annoying to build. These steps here at the front are attached by like one tiny little bit of plastic. It's such a bizarre design. But then GW started making kits with huge pieces missing, haven't they? So this is my favourite model I think I've ever done, is the monolith. It was so fun. It was probably the most fun thing I've ever done in Warhammer. I mean, I used real bits of tree and twig and then stuck plastic kits to the twigs to make it look like trees. There's vines, there's plants all over it, moss. It was just so much fun. All of the glow effect was fun to do. And I hope it goes to a good home. And there you go, that's the entire army. Here's some close-up pics.
Thank you to my current Patreons, you're absolute legends. If you're interested in supporting me further, please check out the affiliate links in the description below, or consider supporting me on Patreon, where you get access to my new Discord server. There's also links in the description for the eBay listings for the army. Please subscribe and like the video, and let me know in the comments what you think of it. Thank you, bye!